Why do we fall in love with what could be more than what is?
It is what it is.
Potential mystifies us. It lets us imagine, hope, and believe more than what reality ever offers. We chase possibility, not substance. And the wild part? This obsession might be shaping our choices, our relationships, ourselves, without us even realizing it. In this video, I'm going to talk about potential, so let's do it. Oh, I'm sweating. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I use this channel to shout into the void about all of my potential and all of yours too. As I was scripting out this video, well, funnily enough, I recorded this entire video, and it was so great. It had such potential, and it was going to be my best video yet. And of course, it was completely out of focus. So here I am, round 2.
Trying again.
And I'll get to this, but I'm glad that it didn't work out because I was missing over a couple things that I wanted to talk about. As I was scripting this video, I was listening to a song called What Once Was by a band called Hers. They were a really fantastic two-piece British band who they released 2 albums, and then tragically in 2019 they passed away in a car crash. Before I even knew what had happened to them, I really enjoyed their music. I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are great. Then I found out what happened, and the first thing I said was, they had such potential. And that's kind of the thing, right? We are constantly bombarded with so many things about tapping into your potential, unleashing your hidden potential, knowing that we have potential for greatness, and yet here we are doing the same things over and over again. And we're not meeting that potential, so much so that potential has become this industry where we are sold from influencers and other brands and anyone on this potential to be more successful, be more attractive, be more than what you are right now. Because potential is this unknown and infinitely deep bucket where we can put all of our hopes and all of our dreams and all of our aspirations so that we don't actually have to pursue them. Potential is a scapegoat to avoid where we are right now. If you're like me, spend a lot of time thinking about what is your potential? What is your potential if there was no blockages from circumstances outside of us and circumstances inside of us? Once I get my mental health on lock, it's over for you bitches. And even trying to make this anything that you make, it's always going to have this friction of potential, the friction of what we think it can be versus the reality of what it actually is. So we can think about potential in 2 separate ways. First way, we can look at it from a purely scientific and physical place. From physics, right? We have potential energy versus kinetic energy. And potential energy is the perceived potential output that an object will have when it starts in motion based on science. And then kinetic energy is the actual output of that object when it's in motion. Let me look it up because I don't want to be wrong. Potential energy is stored energy based on an object position or configuration, while kinetic energy is the energy of motion. So basically we can think about it as potential energy is the stored energy when an object is still, and then the kinetic energy is the energy that it has when it moves. What's great about this is that you can see this happen in real time. You know, you have a tennis ball or bouncy ball. I think there's even like a very famous video about this of a guy swinging a sort of wrecking ball into his face. The potential energy of something, as we release it, the kinetic energy will naturally never meet what that potential energy was. The only time kinetic energy can meet potential energy is in a vacuum. Every other circumstance and every other situation, kinetic energy will always fall short of the potential energy because of outside factors, gravity, wind resistance, other things. And so potential is this forever chase, this forever thing that we will never actually meet. We will never meet our potential. And I think that that's a good thing. If I, yeah, like truly, if we met our potential right now in anything that you want out of your life, anything that you want, if you actually met your potential right now, would it change how you feel about yourself? If you got that job, if you got that person, if you got that promotion, if you reached your potential, if your potential was there and you grabbed it, would it actually change you? I don't think it would, because I think a part of the joy of potential is the chase, is the unknown, the fact that it is the destination, but we never concern ourselves with the journey. And so even from a physics standpoint, we will never meet our potential. And that's good, because as we get to our potential and as we pursue our potential, if we stay flexible and stay open to possibilities in the world and all this other stuff, then the journey getting to that potential is so much more satisfying. And the other way I can think about potential is from a psychological place. A lot of Jungian research is around this potential as well, of the potential that is infinite versus what we are, which is finite beings. Because if we think about potential, potential is limitless. I don't know what the future is. You don't know what your future is. So theoretically, anything is possible. That's true. That is true. In this moment, anything is possible from this moment forward. And reality is different because reality has constraints. We only have a certain amount of time. In the world that we live in, we're only access to a certain amount of resources. They're just the constraints of existence versus the infinite possibility of what our minds can perceive about potential. And I got so much of this that I'm making right now was so much better. It was so much better in my other video. It was so much more off the cuff. I felt more funny. I felt more like affable and all this other bullshit. That's another thing about potential, is that when we look at our past, we see all of the potential of what could have been and how it's different from what is now. We are the living potential of our past. I'm an aging millennial. I grew up in a time before the internet. I mean, how about I just breathe when I talk? Maybe that'll actually help get everything across. The idea of making videos and posting them on YouTube. YouTube came out when I was in middle school, early high school. So the notion of doing this, being able to talk to a camera about things that I find interesting and posting it onto the internet for whoever to see it, was never something I thought would be possible, because I didn't know what I didn't know. And yet here I am living this potential of, what I could do, even from a couple years ago, of, I want to make a YouTube channel. And now here I am living that potential of what this channel is, and not even what it could be. I say that because both from like a you can do it kind of place of, you don't really know where your life is going to take you, and you don't really know what your potential is. And I think that's what's intoxicating about it, is that we don't know what it is, but we all know that we have something in us that's more than what we are right now. That's why it's so easy for me to fall to the intoxication of the potential of people offering these programs and offering these things, or people telling me things to say about all of them. Unlock your potential, you can do this now. And I believe them, because right now, since the future is unknown, what they believe is just as possible as what I believe about myself and about my life and my journey and your life and your journey. And so what I believe is that it is possible to do whatever it is you want to do. I think the way to get there, though, is we have to be open to it looking different and how we want it. I grew up wanting to be a movie star. I still do. But at its core, a movie star is just someone who's in front of the camera, and I'm doing that now. And so in a way, I am meeting this potential I set for myself, even though it's completely different than what I ever anticipated. And so when we can separate anticipation from our potential, we can get it. You can get it. You can get it. You can get it. And the pain, here's the deal. Really, it's all balance, right? It's always going to be a balance. It's always going to be a balance, because the shadow of potential and wasted potential, lost potential, not meeting our potential, or the potential lost through time. And I think even the yes, the positive spin or the optimistic spin on I am the living potential of my past self in this moment. And I am setting the framework for what my potential future self is. And it all hinges on me and you right now in this moment. In the now and now and now. I knew this guy and he had the sauce. He was talented, affable, humble, kind, good natured, handsome, smart, wise, like everything that you'd ever think that a person with so much potential would have. He just had it. You know those people. And you are that person. You are one of those people. You have it, you've got it, you've got the sauce. And this guy did too. Like really had the sauce. He's gonna go places. Like and no hyperbole. He was absolutely going places. And then in 2013, he tragically died in a car crash. And it's this same with the band and same with this guy. It's this double mourning. Not only are we mourning the loss of this person in our lives now, we're also grieving and mourning the loss of everything they could have been. And I think you have that grief in your life, and I have this grief in my life of where I am now and what I could have been. And it is easy to just think, oh man, I should be in that position of these guys who tragically lost their lives in an accident. And I have a feeling and a wish that people would mourn my potential. And that creates this feeling of, oh, well, maybe I should do myself in so that someone outside of me says, man, they had so much potential. So that I don't feel alone in that mourning. But that doesn't help anybody, least of all me. And so if you feel like that and you're thinking like that, I want to encourage you that the world is fundamentally better with you in it. And the sort of spiritualist in me is very much the path. The path that I'm on is the path that I'm on. And so I was always meant to be here in this moment now, talking to you. And that doesn't mean that I don't have the ability to take the reins of my life and guide myself into where I want to be in the future, but also to completely surrender the idea that I have to do anything or have to be anything other than me. And you don't have to be anything other than you. And just listening more to your intuition will guide you into those places of making those choices to then get to your potential. The world is better with you in it, so shut up and take it. And of course, there's always going to be resistance in the way, friction in the way. The gravitational pull of life, people, circumstances, substances, things that numb us, right? That will always inhibit our journey, but never derail it. I don't think we're ever truly derailed. I just think sometimes we choose a path that feels like a hairpin turn, and sometimes the turn feels like it's taking us down a dark spiral. And if you are in a place that you're really struggling, I think that that's important to address and important to think about and talk about and seek professional help if you can, if that's something in the cards for you in this moment. It's painful to think, oh man, I could have been this, I could have been that, I could have been where I want to be had I made a different choice, had I said yes to something else or said no to something else or never did drugs or did more drugs or put myself out there more. Potential is a fool's game because it's always going to be this thing that's always outside of our reach. It's like, oh, I could potentially do that, or potentially do that, potentially do that. And then we get bogged down by all of this potential that then we don't. It creates this choice paralysis. I could do all this stuff. I just don't know what to do, or I want someone to tell me what to do so I can do it. And it's never going to be in a system. It's never going to be in a program. It's never going to be in something outside of you. And I think ultimately, right, all of these courses and books and gurus and all that shit really distills down to that point, is that you can do everything possible, but at the end of the day, It is you who's responsible for your potential. And that's a good thing, because then when we fail or when we don't meet potential, it's not even about blaming us. Fuck, I should have done more. It's just, okay, if I am the only thing that is standing between me and my potential, then that's only one person who's standing between me and my potential. And yes, there's always going to be that resistance outside of us, of course. But with potential comes that belief, right? It's like, I believe that I'm getting there and I'm going to get there. In fact, I am there now. Oh, this video had so much potential. It had so much potential, but you know what? I made it. I did it. And that's good. So my challenge for you today is make something, do something. Understand that you do have potential and do something about it. Shout to the heaven, I have potential. Write it out. Call your mom, call someone, text someone, post it in a comment, post it on a random comment somewhere, on a random post that I have potential. Because the more we can just live in that, the more we can get it. And again, you can get it. And look, the lesson of all of this is we are our biggest fan and our worst critic. Duh. So find that balance. If you are being so critical of yourself, what happens if you become your own biggest fan? And if you are your own biggest fan, think about yourself like when Roman generals would return home from battle, they would have a man standing beside them whispering in their ear, "You're gonna die. This will never last. Memento mori." And so if you are your biggest fan, remember how you can stay humble. And humble yourself. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. Who will watch this? Me and maybe the people I care about. Or maybe not. And that's okay. Because I'm not doing this for them and I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for you. Because we all have the ability to help each other. And I think it's high time and highfalutin time that we start actually doing it. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I love you. Okay. Bye. Okay, bye. Okay, fine, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, you're beautiful. What? Okay, I'm in love with you. What? Okay, so what? Okay, yes, I'm in love with you. What do you want from me? Okay, so I'm in love with you. So, okay, wow. Ooh, oh, I guess I'm so bad because I'm down bad.